Today we're looking at a post-debate stream on the Bibledingers channel on YouTube. Dr. James White versus Corey Mahler. There was a debate on Black Sanctification. Let's see what happened. Dr. James White and Corey Mahler had just finished their debate. So the Bibledingers did a post-stream debate or post-debate stream, and they invited a couple of individuals. On the top right, Corey Mahler. On the bottom right, AD Robles. And AD Robles has something interesting to say at the start of this post-debate stream. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say.
The debate today, I thought it went about what I expected. I saw a lot of people in my private chats saying that they would expect, Dr. White to stick with the Bible, which is exactly what he did. Why wouldn't he? You know what I mean? I think that's exactly what you have to do in something like this. Corey's strength, in my opinion, is that there's some truth to what he says, but it's not ultimately correct at the end of the day. So when Corey cites, issues of sanctification in the Black community, I mean, we can't deny that. That's totally true. But then to take the jump to the next step where it's like, so there, he doesn't say this, but therefore God can't sanctify the Blacks. Obviously I'm gonna disagree with him there. So, it went about what I expected.
Okay, so you heard him there, right? He says that some of the things that Corey Mahler says are true. Sure, I'm sure he says a couple of things that are true, actually. But then he says that there are problems in the Black community with sanctification. Or there's an issue with sanctification in the Black community is what he's saying. Now, if we understand what sanctification is, then I think we would know that that's incorrect. Right? Sanctification is a work of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit. Right? And matter of fact, one of my favorite verses is John 17:17. Right? Where it says, this is Jesus praying. He says to the Father, he says, sanctify them in the truth. Your word is truth. But again, the sanctification is a work of the Holy Spirit. Right? God sanctifies his people. Those who he justifies, he sanctifies. And so, by someone agreeing with that point, saying that it's harder to sanctify the Black community, that's completely wrong. In my opinion, right? Scripturally speaking, anybody who is a true believer, right, who comes to Jesus Christ and believes that Jesus Christ died for their sins, that means that they have repented and turned to Christ, right? But they turned from their sins to Christ. And so, someone who has turned from their sins now starts the sanctification process, and I don't believe that it is harder for God to sanctify some than others, right? And if you're going to talk about general statistics, as Corey Mahler did in this debate, where he started talking about, well, there's more crimes of blacks towards whites, right? There's a lot of crimes. I don't know if he mentioned this part, but there's a lot of crimes within the Black community where it's black on black crime as well. But again, those crimes are happening by people that are not Christian, people that are not justified. So if we're going to take it how it should be, sanctification starts after you're justified, right? It's a work of the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit comes to dwell in you when you are justified. So beginning at the justification stage in the Christian life, that's where sanctification starts. And so people that are committing these crimes are not Christians. If they call themselves Christians and go to church on Sundays, but are committing crimes, they are not Christians. Right? I think we need to make that clear. So just to jump on it here and say, again, I don't know much about AD Robles, so I don't know what his thoughts are on everything. But in that point, I definitely have to disagree. I definitely disagree with Corey Mahler, 100%. And I disagree with AD Robles here saying that there's truth that it's harder to sanctify black people or the black community. And I think that that's incorrect. Anybody who has been justified begins the sanctification process. Because if you say that it's because of the way they live or the way they are or what's inherently in them, like Corey Mahler was saying about the warrior gene, if it has to do with that, then again, when you are justified and the Holy Spirit comes to live in you, there's a new man, there's a new creation. So it's a clean slate. That's where we start from. Someone committing crimes after that has not been washed, has not been regenerated, has not put on the new man, and has put to death the old man. So they're not justified. So I just wanted to make that clear here in this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you. My name is Pablo Marte. This is Pablo Reacts.